needs all of that intro and countdown and whatnot? I was running a little late. Didn't want to have everybody freaked out. Tommy Bird, good to see you. What's happening? Barbara Aldrich, Krista Melinda, Jane. How are you, Jane? Sandy Wandy, good to see you. Boy, we got some fun stuff to talk about. Lost again. How are you? This is your show, folks. Kristen Melinda, there you are. Wouldn't be a show without you. And you know, I'm saying that literally. I just shut down if I don't see her. I'm not even playing. Did I see Brock Bandy? I did. All right, folks. Now, got funny things that we're going to talk about. Let's start with this one, though, because in the last week, I woof you not, the number of comments from people who have reached out and said, how can we donate to these guys? We would like to give you guys money. We would like to help out with this fund, with this cause. And I said, we're working on facilitating this. There is a reason. I'm not dragging my feet. I'm not being lazy. Here's the reason right here. This is on the Miracle in Ecuador video. I got a comment. This is from OG, triple OG. Is this gonna same as Suboxone story, Brett? Making money, conning still. Tough sentence structure. But it's a 22-hour-old channel, which means this is a cat I've probably blocked a dozen times, right? But this is why we're not taking money. This is why I can't facilitate this and have anything to do with it, because we're going to give these hats ammunition, fake ammunition, which is the only ammunition they ever seem to be able to come up with. But every time it damages the cause. And this time the cause means more to me than me. You know what I mean? This is bigger than me. This is a very, very cool cause. And by the way, I get a hell of a lot more out of that than they're getting out of from us. I promise you. I promise you. Audrey in Denver, good to see you. Here's the thing, though. I did not delete this cat. I didn't. I figured for the amount of time it takes to make a sock account, I probably blocked this person a dozen times. I mean, it's very odd. They just happen to find the lifeboat, the same day that they make the account. And you can go and look that stuff up. You know, never seen a show, never left a comment till this one. So usually that's somebody that makes a sock account because they want to spread a little of the negativity. And I'll tell you what, I pinned it. And then I put a comment afterwards that explained that it's the brain surgeons like this, those not burdened by deep thought, that are the reason that we don't take cash. You know, and there's other reasons too that are just sort of fiscal. Jamie Palmer, how are you? Good to see you. You know, sometimes if you take cash like that, you're going to end up paying tax on money that you're giving away. And I mean, that may sound like it's trivial as hell, but it's not, especially if a lot of money comes in. You know, you pay tax on what you donate, and it cuts down on staying in business, which is kind of important. Warren Fissel, good to see you, especially off subscribers at a fairly alarming rate. Although, yeah, Johnny's on fire. Although I have actually kind of hit a freezing point. I've been at the same number for about 4 days. I can't remember the last time that happened. Kind of a hoot. It's always great to see you here, Wharton. But some funny things happened, and they're absolutely worth talking about, because we can say things that sound downright paranoid, and you start going, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But when you start to look at some of the analytics, it's fun to put the algorithm and AI on the spot. It's true they pick winners and losers, right? And they seem to push negative over positive. Now, one of the reasons is if you're driving down the road and you see a family on the side of the road with a picnic, and there's a dog out there and it's running around, and it's the most beautiful and wholesome scene you've ever seen, right? It's absolutely remarkable how many people, though, going down the road will stop or roll to 6 miles an hour to look at a dead body on the side of the road from a car wreck. We as human beings, because of chemical stuff in the brain, this isn't the negative thing, this is just kind of a fact. Hey, Kellyanne, it's just kind of a fact that humans are drawn to things that are frightening. We're drawn to things that are scary. And one of the reasons and the theories behind it is that we want to make sure that these kind of things don't happen to us. And when we were really young, every time there was something that was frightening or something that really kind of rocked you, you got enough of a dopamine hit that it imprinted that thing on you. And I think that there's something subconscious in us going forward from there that drives us to look at stuff that's evil. It's ugly, but it's the truth. And they know it. It's been admitted, no matter how much. You could go out there and watch nothing but kitten videos. They're still going to sneak a couple of weird ones in on you no matter what's going on, because the algorithm is trying to develop a taste in all of us for certain things. And I'm not going to make this a show about the algorithm, but I'll tell you something. If you get a short that comes out and in the first, or a video that comes out, and the first 100 people that see it, 60 of them hit thumbs up. From the standpoint of the algorithm, right? You just had 60% engagement. You know, or you got 60 thumbs up or down, whatever, right? Because both help. But you got 60% engagement. The average is not usually out of the teens in strong channels. So if you're up that high, theoretically, the algorithm should be shoving us down the throat of every single person out there. But that's just simply not how it goes down. They suppress negative stuff. However, we can also look and see when we're shared. And our most recent videos are being shared more. That is probably why I'm not seeing the numbers drop the way we were, because that gets it out in front of other people and they look at what's going on and sometimes they're inspired or whatever the case may be. We're not in the process of raising money, right? We sure like raising money for ourselves. It's fun to stay in business and not have to shut this down. But the vast majority of money that we want to raise is not for us. Fortunately, we've moved to a place where we can make a lot less money and still live comfortably, which is a real absolute bonus. Cynthia, did I see the Brian Kohlberger jail cell video? I did. In fact, I saw it just before, about an hour before I went live. I did catch that. It's bizarre to me how easily people are filmed inside prison. This blows me away. I've been in prisons where people have cell phones. And your biggest threat, even like in the feds, they have machines that seek out the signals from cell phones. And they literally do this, right? It's absolutely fascinating. They're on every video, Susan, on every video, there is a little button that says share. And you can send it to a friend. You can send it to a Facebook page. You can send it to an Instagram post. You can send it a lot of different places. Hey, Benny, good to have you here. Benny, good to see you. Do they have cell jammers too? Yes, some prisons have cell jammers. The big one that they were putting in everywhere while I was in prison were jammers for drones, because that was really becoming an issue. People can fly overhead making no sound and then drop things onto the yard. 1 year anniversary of dating Jamie Palmer. Congratulations. How cool is that? Did you guys catch that? Let me tell you how much life has changed, folks. Do you know what's going on in the city of Salinas, Ecuador this weekend? A huge gathering. The number of people out on the Malecón right now. I'm going to be really surprised if we don't hear fireworks going off. If you didn't catch the video that I posted earlier, that video shows all kinds of fireworks flying into the air, and they're doing it at midnight every night this week. And do you know what the occasion is? Me either. We don't spend a whole lot of time looking them up. I know I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it seems like there's one of these every other day. And if it's something really cool, like if it has to, if they're shutting down schools and things like that, full holiday, but whatever they're doing here is a party. It's not a holiday. But it just goes to show you, because today I said to Johnny, we were walking, and I go, hey, I got a good idea. We should come down and check out this stage later. And he went, what, at night? And the way he said it just made it sound like he's 106 years old. 8 ghost pepper sauce once. My gums were numb all day. Johnny, you have a talent, right? The man really does. He's a legend. Like it or not, the man is a legend. These are some of the best subs on YouTube. These really are. You guys are absolutely fantastic. There was another comment that I read today, and I think this is worth reading. Let me see if I can find it. It's this is just one of the most beautiful things I've ever read. And I'm doing it because this is about you guys too. It says, let me see. I'm getting ready to start a channel like how you did it. Also, it's the weekend now, and I can binge watch The Boat for the next 2 days, which is cool. I'm truly happy today. I am grateful for my life. Thank you. You have been a blessing and a true spiritual guide I've always needed, which is kind. I set up so many nights watching your channel, and I made it to another sober day. I didn't do this myself. If it wasn't for you and the format that you do and everybody on the boat who could be there with me at 2:30 or 4:30 or 6:30 in the morning, you and everyone on the boat were there when no one else was. I truly owe my life to this, meaning the boat. I've watched the boat for over 3 years now. You're all a part of my family. Anyone you care about, I care about. Your light was so strong to break through the darkness. I dove down. I will tell you that you, the collective you, saved my life. How cool is that? And he says, you did that. I won't think any different. How cool is that, man? That's the tribe, folks. That's the power of when somebody pops in at the lowest moment of their life and they're just getting kicked in the teeth and they cannot lift their head up, right? And I don't mean physically. I just mean, have you ever been in that place where you can't put your chest out, where you're staring at the ground and everything just feels like the world, the weight of the world is on top of you? When you show up at a place like this and you pop into the chat for the first time and you're like, man, the live thing, what are they talking about? This is a drug thing. And everybody goes, hello, Frank, how are you? Welcome to the boat. Hey, how are you? Good to have you here. One person after another. I'm going to tell you this. I never have said once, do me a favor and say hi to people when they pop into the chat. We want people to think that I never had to do that. I never did. From the very first day that we ever went live, it's been this way. The seeds in peppers stop cancer. Johnny, you're set. That man's never going to get the big C. Tell you what, Johnny Scoville's eaten more pepper seeds than anybody on planet Earth. Lots of life jackets on this boat. Safe space. Yeah. Your heart just thumped. Yeah, well, it's a beautiful thing. I am adding that. I take a screenshot of those and I tuck them away for the when I really need a dopamine hit at a later date. When the jackwagons who leave comments like, what did that other one say? It's worth reading, man. I'm sorry. It's just worded so well. Is this going to same as Suboxone's story, Brett? Making money, conning still? Okay. You read one of those. Here's the thing that's depressing, and I think it's worth talking about. I did the Miracle in Ecuador short. And it's probably one of the more successful shorts I've done in a long time, where if we're not over 1,000, we're close to it. And I know that there are people that will laugh at that. But with what we do, 1,000 views on a short is a pretty good short. But the percentage of what was a positive thumbs up or a negative, if I have to ask you to take a guess, I'll tell you that the average on the lifeboat is about 99. Honestly, we have a 99% average since starting of positives versus negatives, which is a really nice number. And there have been times where it got down to 97. And there are times that, it goes back up and back down. But on that particular video, I looked at that and I go, it's called Miracle in Ecuador. And most of you saw the video. How about 65% positive? 35% negative. 35% of the people saw that and hit a thumbs down. I find that astounding. I guess they just don't like me. I don't understand how that short could cause somebody to go, Wharton Thistle, stay real. Please be safe, man. I know the seeds in apricots and peaches kill cancer with vitamin B17, which you can't buy in the States because, believe it or not, the FDA has made it illegal. They were really tough on a tea made from bark from a place in South America. The tea is called Padiarco. And I remember I had a person very close to me that had cancer, as close a friend as you could have. And I was trying to get Padiarco tea because it was apparently where this tea is consumed daily in that part of the world. There's a tribe that drinks this, and I have had it. It tastes absolutely awful, right? It was really, just tastes like venom. But it's supposed to, really prevent and do stuff with cancer. So I was trying to buy this for a friend. And at the same time, Silk Road was open. And the woman that I was with at the time the two of us were buying unbelievable amounts of chemicals from Silk Road, breaking the law, something fierce, buying them all with Bitcoin and having all of these shipped in. And then from a completely different site that had nothing to do with Silk Road, I bought Padiarco tea. And one day I'm sitting in my house, and the way the house was set up, if I was in the living room during the day, I usually had the blinds open. You could see outside, see the neighbors, everything else. and a car pulled up, and it's like if you spent a long time doing the wrong thing, that kind of car pulls up and you go, oh man, that's a cop car, right? Just everything about it. There's way too much rubber on the tires. There's a pigtail antenna. They call them pigtails. There's a little squiggle on it like a pigtail. Most cars don't have those anymore except police cars. And I looked at the woman I was with at the time and I said, we're screwed. This is going to be for all the stuff we're buying online. And the guy comes rolling up to the door and he pulls out his badge and he says, do you know why we're here? And I wanted to say, well, it's such a broad question. If you could narrow it down a little bit. It's like that scene from Liar Liar. Do you know why we're here? It kind of depends on how long you've been watching me. I said, honestly, sir, I would have no idea why you're here. He goes, you've been buying anything online you shouldn't? And I thought, well, it's a wrap. I mean, I bought so much junk. It had been going on for a month or two. And I go, I have no idea what you're talking about. He goes, Potty Arco tea? Does this sound familiar to you? I was like, run that by me again. You're here because I ordered Potty Arco tea online. And then what they did is they seized it. They seized my Potty Arco tea, and they gave me the opportunity to then buy Potty Arco. You building a bridge there, Johnny Scoville? They then gave me the opportunity to buy Potty Arco tea from a whole host of places in the United States that pasteurize it so that they know it's safe. It also destroys whatever's going on in the Potty Arco tea. My friend still drank it because he didn't want to die. But horrible tasting stuff. I did it, I guess, out of, I don't know, camaraderie, brotherhood, that kind of thing. I just wanted to be there for my friend. And when he said, I can't drink this stuff, it tastes like yak urine, I was like, I'll drink it with you. There's nothing to this. And I took a sip and thought, yeah, how bad can cancer be? I'm sorry. It's really bad. The stuff tastes absolutely awful. My friend survived, by the way. So, is Darth Vader in my condo? He very well could be. Did you hear that noise? That was actually Johnny Scoville moving his bed. It's work done on the floor today. But it did sound a little bit like that. Every time I sit in this chair, pardon me, folks. Hopefully there's none of that in the mustache. Always a risk, bro. Blowing your schnoz while you're live, always a risk.
It is.
It is. It's scary stuff. I'm not even playing. I'll tell you some of the other thing. I was looking at the click-through rate for our videos. And our click-through rate literally was 3 times higher than any video I had ever had. That means the number of people that went on it versus flipping it away and going to the next one. I've never done a video that had a higher click-through rate than the videos that I have been doing on Ecuador and on the rehab center. Greatest click-through rate ever and the worst views. That really doesn't make a lot of sense. So I do appreciate all the support of people sharing this because the only people that are going to hear about this are the people that know about the boat or the people you share it with. There is an active campaign, I promise you, to just push filth. This is the new brain drain, unfortunately. Television isn't what there's no real television left. It's not like that. It just isn't. I mean, in other parts of the world, here people still watch TV, but for the most part, TV is a dead form of media. Really just a dead form of media. And because of the fact that the internet has always been tied to, at least tangentially tied to, intelligence and the seeking of knowledge and the ability to go out and get knowledge, it's almost as if parents feel like they're safer letting their kids, do things online than dropping in front of the television. And I'm telling you, these things are designed to keep you on these things. AI is just the absolute top of the food chain when it comes to trying to keep somebody looking at a computer screen or a phone. Audra in Denver asks the right question. Can we send donations directly to the facility? Yes, you will be able to. And we are hoping to have that set up this week where the issue becomes what platform that will be done in, because it's probably going to be a little confusing because you're going to be dealing not with an American. And I realize it would be a lot easier if we could facilitate it because of where our address is and all of that. We have every one of the platforms you use. We have Cash App, we have PayPal, we have all those things. We will not be doing that. So they're in the process right now of figuring out what they're going to do so that you can donate directly to the facility. And it's amazing because it's one of those places where when more money comes in, they do more stuff. Like instantly, they just kind of put it into the facility, and we've been blessed. It's a lot less expensive to live down here. Groceries are so much cheaper than you can imagine. There's just so many ways you save money. And we can throw a little bit of cash at them. Like, I think I told the story the first time we were out here. They said, the water will be hooked up. We're waiting. It's $40 worth of the pipe. And we were like, I'm like, I got a 20. I said to Johnny, he's like, yeah, I got a 20. And it's instant. They're like, hey, here's the $40. They go and grab the pipe, and the next thing you know, there's water running. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Not sure if I said this before, but I've started looking for a job and probably found one I could do remotely. Just need to get some ducks in a row first. Jamie Palmer, are you kidding me? So in the last year, let's see if we can recap this. You're getting ready to celebrate your 1-year anniversary, and you got a new gig. Wow, things are looking up, right? How cool is that? I am almost never on my phone. Folks are texting me all day, and I don't see them until night. B-Lady, I get that. I really do. I get that. Loved Johnny at the store. Well, Johnny was talking to me earlier about taking you guys on tour to some other places. The mall might be one of them. I think you'd be really blown away to see a mall in Ecuador. What do you think? Absolutely. The mall in Ecuador is absolutely amazing. It really is. The craziest thing about the mall in Ecuador is I have an easier time finding things in a store that doesn't speak my language than a store that does. Am I kidding? We went there and we had a list of like 9 things that we absolutely had to get. We were getting some food and some other things, but like 8 things that were difficult to get anyplace else. Kitty litter box, stuff like that. And you would have thought that I had GPS on this thing because I went like from one tool row to the next, and everything is in one place. It's like Bed Bath & Beyond, Home Depot, your grocery store, and a place that sells motorcycles, and it's all in this one huge room. And that's not the mall. That's just the largest of the one-stop shop kind of places that they have down here. Like the Maxi Mart is good sized. I can't remember their competition's name. Do you remember the name of that place? No. It's like 2 Maxi Marts. It's absolutely, it might even be 3. It's massive. Well, and then there's a mall attached to that. And in that mall, it would look, well, I shouldn't, spoiler alert. Honestly, you won't know you're in Ecuador unless you see the people. It looks remarkably like any other mall in any other place in the world. There's an Apple store. It looks very much Mr. Johnny's neighborhood. You know what? That's funny. Johnny in the city. That might be better. That might be better. Johnny in the city's got a nice ring to it. One-stop shopping. You're not woofing either. When you see this place, like I said, I needed to get kitty litter, right? Well, on top of kitty litter, I also needed to get tools because it's going to take a long time for my stuff to get here. So I don't have a cordless drill. I don't have a hammer. I don't have a screwdriver, like things that I hate to sound like that guy, but you got to have those things if you're a dude. You know what I mean? You can't do anything around the house if you don't have a really basic set of tools. They don't have to be, you don't have to be the guy from This Old House or anything like that, but you absolutely need to make sure that you got enough tools around that you can at least repair something. And I had to go, hey, Kevin Hawthorne, Lakeland, Florida, there you are. But I had to run and grab all of these tools and get some kitty litter and, beverage. And I mean, it was everything. We bought some linen stuff for the beds. And I'm telling you, it's all in one store. I'm sure we could have gone into the malls and got stuff with name brands on it or whatever. But however, that was the store that we had an absolute meltdown in. But that wasn't my fault. We were very new here, and there was a guy, all kinds of stuff. See, Monk gets it. Monk. Good to see you, Monk. Glad that you're here. We had a bad time there, but it was because I don't do well with people invading my personal space. And you would have thought that like I was getting punked on a show or something. This dude was standing so close to me that it was intimate. Like it freaked me out. Put him in a striped shirt and we'll play Where's Johnny? Not a bad call, dude. Like a Waldo thing. We'll get him a silly hat and a cane. Yeah, here's the really funny thing about that. All you gotta do is look for the bald dude. We've been down here. We're just starting our 3rd month living here, and I have seen 2 people who were bald. Johnny's only seen 1. He was not with me when I saw the first one. In both cases, I'm 99% sure they were expats. One of the things that you can say about Ecuadorian people is they have tremendous hair. For real, I've never seen an Ecuadorian man of any age that didn't have hair. They just all have hair. We really do stick out like Wednesday in the middle of the week. Montgomery, good to have you here. I'm glad you are here. So coming up this week, when we go back to see the fellas on Thursday. We're going to set it up so that you can see the show that we do for them there. We do a lifeboat of sorts when we go out there. Or like, or Chase the Heat. It's kind of a combo of the Love Boat and Chase the Heat. We go out there and we talk to these guys, and we have a translator, so I can speak in English. If I had to do it in Spanish, it would be a very short presentation. We're learning. We've got flashcards. We're getting very into it, but it's a process, and I feel so safe in this language. Hey, bald is sexy here in the States. I own a salon, so not good for me. You know what? What works out? Wear a bee suit. There you go. I would wear a bee suit. I really would. I would rock that. There was a girl that came to my freshman year in college. The very first day, she went running in a black and white striped one piece. And for her entire college career, they called her the bee woman. Couldn't shake it. Could not shake it. Chasing the love boat. Not bad, Susan. Not bad. I like where this is going. No, I will tell you this. We were walking the other day, and in the United States, when somebody stares at Johnny for too long a period of time, I'm always like, oh, they know what you do, right? Because he's the famous of the Scoville brothers. But here, every single person looks at you like that, and it's just a combination of, I started to do a little research to help it make sense, because I know that we've said in the past, we almost feel like we're getting stared at, and the average height in this country is 5'6". It's the average height. So at 6'2", you're a lot taller than everybody. And I also am normally a lot bigger, like in some cases, like twice the size of some of the people down here. So we stand out, because when you walk and when you're a little taller than everybody, it's not that you notice that everybody's shorter than you, but everybody that's shorter than you notices that you're taller than them. Throw on top of that the fact that we're bald, and we're definitely foreign, and all of those things combine to make you just sort of an oddity. And people also image search is a possibility. So today we got one of the first. I think Johnny probably told you guys, but Johnny got spotted today. Somebody finally got spotted by somebody here. Me, I always prefer to be in my A suit. Wait, yeah, no. MJ got it going. Now you got it. The Rock, etc. Yeah, I'm ready for a. I think the hat and the bald head. Right? No, I'm probably done with the tattoos. I think I'm bald in the city. There you go. Then we can both be in it. That's a much better call. See that? I like what Kellyanne's done here. Do you know how much time I'd save with hair? I have 80s rock star lion mane. Hair for days. Really? Yeah, it would save you a lot of money for sure. Problem is, like if you're completely bald, that's awesome. You know what I mean? That's awesome. I'm not. Like I can even grow hair on top. There's only like 25 or 30 of them. You know what I look like? I look like Wes Watson before he tattooed his entire head. I'm just thin as all get out on top. And I've sort of got the peninsula. You know what I mean? Like Dr. Phil has the cul-de-sac. I've just got that peninsula of hair. Kind of looks like Selena's from above. You know what I mean? Thin strip of hair down the middle of the dome. And all of that has to be shaved. So the cost of razors, it's probably cheaper to grow my hair than it would be to, I spent a lot of money on razors. Although, you guys know Russ, I used to do shows. Russ gave us these head shavers that are just absolutely remarkable. I mean, they really are remarkable. It cuts down on the amount of shaving that I have to do. And if I'm wearing this hat, you probably know I didn't shave. It's my cheat hat. I'm kidding. I'm clean shaven today, but I like the hat. This was a gift from Reese Quibell. And I don't think this one was ever her ex-husband's. You've been around long enough, you know that joke. Come on. These are the jokes, people. It's Friday night. It's going to be loud. I'll tell you something, folks. I appreciate each and every one of you. And freaking hot. You know what, Montgomery? See, that's an issue. Having the big lion, I have no idea. I can't relate to that. I'm sorry. The last time I had a lion's mane of hair, it was a mullet. And what year was that? Like 1989? I think we kicked the mullet in 89. Do I get sunburn on my head? I wear a hat if the sun is out, but when I went to, oh yeah, we blend, Audra. Absolutely no two ways about it. We blend.
You walk on the street, we're so tall and they're on the sidewalk.
Yeah, we usually like we'll pass people. If I'm never gonna like, try to split a family. If I got a family walking to me, I usually get off of the curb and onto the street. And Johnny's taken a couple of pictures that way, and usually we're still taller than him. But I got a sunburn on my head when we went to the rehab center on Thursday, and it was the most overcast day you've ever seen in your life, but I got a sunburn anyway. We are in equatorial sun country here, so I do. Like I have a hat right there. I got one by the door. I wear a lot of hats here because this is pretty rugged sun. It really is. So with the pale skin and the bald head, with the height factor all rolled together, I bet when those people see you on the beach, you're like a couple of walking lighthouses. You guys could guide any ship into the bay. We don't spend enough time on the beach to bring them in, but yeah, we could. We probably could. We definitely stick out like Wednesday in the middle of the week. The good thing is, they remember you everywhere you eat. Like when you go back to eat, that it's never like, oh, have you guys been here before? Do you know the menu? They're like, hey, it's the two big bald dudes. We've got a new restaurant today. I'm sure if you caught Johnny's show, he probably told you about it. But great pizza, man. Found a great pizza place today, which I got to be really honest, I thought was a house until about 2 days ago. Didn't you?
Yeah.
It's the way the front is set up, you really can't see into it. And we were walking by it today, and Johnny's like, what do you think, pizza? And I'm like, where do you want to go for pizza? He's like, right here. They're open. And I'm telling you, I thought it was a house. I had the rock star long perm in 1979. And my conservative little Bible Belt town didn't know what to do with me. Barbara, I love that. What's the weather like in winter? This is winter. We're in the dead of winter right now. It's 70, on a cold day, it'll be about 70 degrees. I've not seen it in 60s. Have you?
Night.
Oh, yeah, but I mean during the day. During the day, it parks somewhere between 70 and 76 all winter. And then when there are two summers, so to speak, there are two hot seasons here. When the first one comes, it'll get to about 85. When the second one comes, it'll just be in the very high 70s. It may even be sometimes 75. But when the sun is out in Ecuador at 75, it doesn't feel like 75. It feels considerably hotter. When the sun is not, when you're outside and the sun is not out and the wind is blowing, 75 degrees can feel like 50. Got to put sweatshirts on at 75. Does it ever rain? A couple of times a year. No, it does rain, but yeah, we've had. So we're just starting our third month, and we've seen 2 days of rain. A couple, and a few earthquakes. Is it a dry heat? No, not this close to the ocean. It's if this door right here were open, I could throw a tennis ball into the ocean from where we're at. Yeah, for real. We're so close. I don't know if you saw the video I did last night shooting the fireworks, but that guy's standing on the beach, and he's deep on the beach. I mean, what do you figure, 60 feet, 70 feet? Yeah, 70 feet from the seawall. So, I mean, the beach is right there. In fact, it lives at about 80 decibels here all the time. It's never quiet, ever. We really like it. Hello, fam and Johnny, Tommy. So thankful you're both committed to your work with the guys in rehab. Letting you know, for one, I am behind your efforts, behind God's lead. We're all behind you. What a cool thing to say, Timothy Glass. I appreciate it. I am of the belief that the humid weather, like I lived in Houston, Texas, and the humidity was awful. I couldn't stand it. It really was difficult for me, having come from a part of the world where that climate didn't exist. So I was, for me, the thought of being anywhere humid, but the humidity here is different. And it's because, I mean, you're right on the water. So even when it's feeling kind of humid, there's always a cool breeze that's coming in off the ocean. When I first got here, oh, that makes a lot more sense, Roberta. I got to be honest with you. I was getting ready to Google and find out who Kimber was. I'm like, man, I've been blowing this. I'm not shocked by Kohlberger's problems at all. That dude is guilty of a heinous crime, and it got so much publicity. If you're a criminal and your crime gets a lot of publicity, your life is going to suck. It really is. And that's even if it's one of those crimes. Oh man, not Tommy Bird. We're 14 floors up. we're 230 feet off the ground. Johnny was in here for one of them. Whole thing started shaking. The bugs are bigger in Houston. Everything is bigger in Houston. Dan Young says it's like a wetsuit. It is. Kohlberger is here's what he's got going for him. Absolutely nothing. For real. The American prison system is awful under the best of circumstances. And by the best of circumstances, I mean, you go in there and you're in there for selling drugs, you're in there for stealing something, or you're in there for a murder that makes sense to everybody else in there because people are judgmental. So a murder that makes sense to everybody else in there is you came home and you found your wife cheating and you shot the guy who was in the house, right? You might have shot both of them. That kind of thing, people can walk the yard, no one's going to mess with them. But what he did got so much publicity. Those girls were lovely, right? He just stole the lives of 4 kids, and it looks like he just did it for adventure. The other thing is his last name, right, is going to be a problem because no matter how you shake it, there are a lot, percentage-wise, the number of white dudes in there that are tolerant probably make up about 20%. Because most join racist and anti-Semitic prison gangs. Anti-Semitic being like the biggest thing, right? Their symbols are all swastikas. If your last name ends in Berg, that's got to be a really hard place to go. Everything that could be going against Brian Kohlberg is going against Brian Kohlberg. He's in bad shape, man. He really is. I agree. Did you hear about the Devil's Den incident that happened recently? Dan Young, I am going to be doing a show on it coming up. I am probably going to record it so that people realize that there's a lot of people that love it when I do true crime. However, I want to make sure that I'm going to market it slightly different. But I'm going to absolutely cover that because I think it's fascinating. And one way or the other, like it or not, I have a knack for true crime. Johnny Scoville says terrible things about me. Who's that woman you're always saying I remind you of?
Which one?
Nancy Grace. When Johnny really wants to hit below the belt, he drops the. Roberta says, I live not far from Devil's Den. Well, I'll be damned. Then I'll definitely have you in the chat, I bet. Kathy Burkhardt, good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Oh, I haven't heard of that case. Oh, Lost Again, It's going to get a lot of press. Is Ghislaine Maxwell really getting work release during the days from Club Med like Epstein had in Florida? I'll tell you something, Timothy. This is where the train leaves the tracks in terms of Epstein. And it's Friday nights. Anything goes. So you got questions, fire them. This is what Friday night's supposed to be. Ghislaine Maxwell is a convicted sex offender. The fact that they sent her to a low security yard, it doesn't happen. In the feds, it doesn't happen ever. It just doesn't happen. So all bets are off. You know what I mean? I would not have believed for a second that this was possible. Now, I think that this is going to sound, don't hate me for this, please. Ghislaine Maxwell should be shot. However, she had a deal. There was a deal in place to protect her. It just says a lot about our country. They made a deal with those guys. They made a deal with the devil, and then they doubled back on it. And it sucks. They should have never made the deal. But then doubling back, this is why people get out of prison and go completely nuts and do stupid things. And because the system is so crooked, just in its nature, it's so crooked. But imagine going in there and cutting a deal that says, we're not going to prosecute you, and we're not going to prosecute anybody that could be considered a co-defendant or in a conspiracy with you on this. Deal? I never heard of a deal. Oh, they made a deal. I put the deal on this show, B-Lady. If you go back and watch the Epstein shows that I did, I don't know if it was the first one or the second one, I have a picture of the deal that Epstein signed in Florida with Acosta, right? And the deal literally said this wasn't going to take his house. There were going to be no seizures over this. And they were going to make sure that he could not be prosecuted. And it says, because of what he did, there was a deal. He proffered an agreement. If you don't prosecute me, I'm going to give you this. We don't know what this is. It was redacted. but he gave the United States government something. And Acosta, the prosecutor at the time, who ended up getting a cabinet position in the next term, but Acosta said he doesn't remember who reached out to him and said, you got to kill this case. And let me tell you what BS that is. Because if you are a head prosecuting attorney in a federal courthouse, right? If you have that kind of juice, the only person that can call that off, it would have to be the Attorney General of the United States, for real. It would probably have to be the Attorney General of the United States, the President, the Vice President, right? Secretary of State, maybe? Nah, probably not. I mean, the Secretary of State would have to reach out to the Attorney General. I figure there's 3 people that could have made that phone call: President, Vice President, and the Attorney General. You guys can tell me if you disagree on that. Like Karla Homolka had a deal. Good grief. One of the worst, absolute worst miscarriages of justice is the fact that Karla Homolka is free on the street. If you guys do not know who Karla Homolka is, it was a case out of Canada. It's one of the most disturbing cases out of Canada ever, where a young girl gets murdered as a man and a woman were trying to have a threesome with her. They wanted her drugged. What makes it more disturbing is that the girl was the little sister of one of the killers, Karla Homolka, and her husband. What was his name? Oh, man, somebody help me with that. Karla Homolka is like Ghislaine, complicit and well aware of what she did. Yeah, I mean, I think she's worse. What the heck was her boyfriend's name? Come on, Johnny. What's that? You got this. Are you familiar with the remote viewer Patricia Mora, who's helped find the remains of 20? Yeah, Long Island. 29 missing people. I didn't realize that that's how. Ricardo, thank you. Bernardo. Thank you. What's so funny is that the Trump camp was demanding the unsealing of the grand jury files, knowing full well there wasn't any new info and they can't release it. It's a big game for sure. It is, Dane Young. It absolutely is. Paul Bernardo, thank you. His interviews are so disturbing. That guy is absolutely a lowlife. Yes, there's always a ton of good information in the chat. Are you kidding? This is that chat. Yeah, the Trump camp was absolutely all of this. I remember pulling a piece of plastic off a machine at work several years ago, he remembers. What's disturbing about all of this? Wow, this is a really great question. She's fine and with kids living in Quebec. I know, how disgusting is that? You ready for it? Just in case we weren't demonetized at the 42-minute and 51-second mark, here we go. Is adrenochrome a real thing and not imagined? What does it do? Here's the theory. The theory is that if you terrorize the ever-loving crap out of somebody, that especially right around the time of death, like when you're that close, there is a drug that gets put into the body so that it eases you across. It prepares you for death. And they say it's very akin to DMT, which is a very potent, dissociative, hallucinogenic style drug. Is adrenochrome real? There are a lot of people that think that it is, right? Sounds like DMT. Well, it's a lot like DMT. You're spot on with that, my man, Connor. It's very much like DMT. But here's the theory, and here's the what's been going around is that the ultra elites like to torture people and then harvest it out of the blood as they're getting ready to die. It ties into snuff films. It ties into a lot of during the Diddy case, there was a lot of talk of adrenochrome and the tunnels underneath LA and all that. That became so sensationalized. I've done a lot of research. I didn't stop looking into Diddy stuff when I stopped reporting on Diddy stuff. I really did. I did a lot more digging. I did a lot more research. And I've come to a conclusion, and you don't have to agree with me on any of this. Yeah, here's the thing. Do you realize that the United States will tell you that there's never been a bona fide snuff film ever found, that they've all been fake? Isn't adrenochrome mostly from children, if I recall correctly? Well, apparently, allegedly, the people that promote this say that it is far more effective and far more potent to get it from a child. The reason being, adults have the ability to reason with what's happening to them, where very often the kids don't. So you can terrorize a child more. It's a disturbing thing to say out loud, but this is the theory behind the people who are talking about the adrenochrome stuff. Now, whether or not that is true, that's a drug I have not done. All the tunnels and things all over the world, I've seen them. It's horrifying. Lost again, I tend to believe that there are tunnels places. I do. I don't believe there are Starbucks working in the tunnels the way that the people during the Diddy trial said. Yes, Timothy, there are serial killers who film themselves killing people. What the government means is they've never found somebody selling them. Like there's never been somebody that was actually manufacturing films where they killed people where they've caught the person. I don't believe that for a second.
Epstein Island is their stuff on, dude.
They absolutely do. Donna, hi, how are you? So whether or not the stuff exists or doesn't, where we got way off base, and probably one of the reasons that people expected so much at the trial was because of personalities that became bigger than life during the buildup to the Diddy case. And we were looking for people that had been at Diddy parties behind every single rock. We looked at pictures of Howard Stern with his family at a Diddy party and said, how could you do that? How could you bring your kids to a Diddy party? And I said at the time, there's a red carpet set up. When Diddy had his, I think it was his 50th birthday party, everybody on planet Earth attended it. Your picture's probably there. But nobody went to some sex-fueled weird thing. They literally had the red carpet laid out with the name of all the sponsors behind it, and you stepped up, you took a picture with Diddy, and you left, so that he could have that wall of pictures of him with everybody famous on planet Earth. And that's why when people like this get busted, there's always a million pictures of them with virtually everybody, because they have publicists. They have people that set these events up, and they invite the hoity-toities and the rich and the elite, and if they can't get there, they'll pay for their travel. It's part of this whole clout-chasing BS that's a part of the whole Hollywood institution and has been forever. But here's what I have researched. There have been some people, now I'm not going to put this on Diddy, but there have been some people that have managed to escape parties of this nature. And some of them have come out with some very credible stories about them. And they're invite-only parties. They usually happen alongside of other parties. But they're very structured in that by the end of the night, there might be 15 to 20 people there or 30 people there. And 2 of them will be new. And the way that these parties are set up is they take 5 or 6 hours. And over the course of that 5 or 6 hours, it's like a themed party. And it starts out with everybody just sort of meeting one another and being friendly. And if you're the new recruit or whatever, everybody comes up and introduces themselves. And you're meeting all these famous people, and your mind is blown, right? This is the coolest thing in the world. And the next room, people start coming in with some clothing missing, right? It starts getting a little bit racier, and they start looking around, going, "Hey, what the hell? You know, it's not exactly what I thought I was getting into when I got invited to this." But then at the top of the hour, the thing bongs again. You go to another room. It's these themed parties. And when you go to the next one, it's like dinner at the world's greatest buffet, right? Dinner at Hogwarts. Eyes Wide Shut is a documentary. It probably downplays what's really going on. I believe it does. They keep going through all these rooms. And then at the very end, you go up and there's a series of holy texts. The Bible will be there. The Quran will be there. Whatever, the Torah, whatever happens to be your religious book. And they'll say, which one is yours? And you put your hand on it. They have a little thing that you drop on top, some kind of a little metal thing. It's a symbol of some sort. You put your hand on top of it. And they ask you to do a specific chant. If you do the chant, you get into the next room where you're going to be abused on camera. But you're initiated. All right? Now you're part of this. But now they got you on film doing things that usually go against how you were born, right? So if you like boys, you might be doing something with girls. Or if you like girls, you might be doing something with boys. But you're going to be getting abused. And it's going to be ritualistic, and they're going to film it. And if by some chance you say, I don't want a part of this, they're probably going to run you out of the city. And there are people who point to certain stars who don't seem to have a past. I don't want to point any fingers at anybody, but comedians are easy to track their career. It's so easy to go, oh yeah, he worked at the Laugh Factory, or he worked at the Laugh Stop, or at this place in Boston, or at that place in Phoenix, and then he went out to California and he cut his teeth on all of these clubs, yada yada. And you can do this with everybody. And then if they're good, they might get a TV program like Jerry Seinfeld would, right? Or you might jump into films, and you might start to make your way into films like Robin Williams or some of the other great comics have done, going from that kind of an audience to the other, if that makes sense, right? But sometimes somebody just seems to show up in Hollywood and have a couple of comedy specials instantly, and 5 or 10, movie deals, one right after the other. Kevin Hart, excuse me. Nobody knows where Kevin Hart came from. All of a sudden, he was just a movie star, had his own specials, doesn't seem to have any past. Those kind of people are unusual, and it makes you believe that they handpick people and just make it happen. I worked in the TV and film business for 30 years. Crazy business for sure. I saw a lot of things I probably shouldn't have saw. I bet. Holy God, I bet. That's got to be one of the worst reputations that you can find of any industry, right? I mean, if you think Weinstein, you think, well, back to Gone with the Wind, right? I mean, look at how long have they been drugging and taking advantage of actors and actresses? It's really awful. I'm not a fan of initiations. Usually goes sideways or turns dark. I'm with you. Tommy, when you were talking about AI, I thought about the movie Colossus, the Forbin project. Scary stuff. Kevin Hart doesn't feel genuine to me. He shouldn't. He's not. I'm sorry. I really don't think so. I saw a lot of things I shouldn't have seen in the film biz. I get it. I believe it. Kevin Hart doesn't feel genuine. No, not at all. Renee B, good to see you. That's okay. Late is all right. Yeah, I don't do. I'm not big on initiations. They were the kind of things that you would do in college, because in college you're still seeking out who you are, and you're often naive enough to allow that kind of thing to happen. Nepotism to the max, yeah, or you got initiated. I mean, we saw Kevin Hart, right? This isn't allegedly. I won't even sing it. There's really twisted video of him at the at Diddy parties where there's sex toys on the bed, and you're watching people try to force drinks onto him, and he's laughing at a woman's hair that has just caught fire, and it's really obvious that Diddy is making a joke about waking up in bed with a prepubescent usher when he lived with him, getting up in the morning in the same bed, wrestling over the cornflakes, and Kevin Hart just laughs his butt off, thinks it's the funniest thing in the entire world. Can't believe you just said that effing stuff on TV. Kevin Hart makes me really uncomfortable, man. Which movie are we talking about, B-Lady? Let me see if I can back up. Are you talking about Eyes Wide Shut? I absolutely saw that movie. Yeah, I absolutely saw that movie. It's disturbing, right? Really, really disturbing. Thanks to the amazing mods. Boy, that's the right thing to say. We really have got a good crew here. Tommy, have you seen The Island with Scarlett Johansson? The Island. I don't remember. The Island. I don't know why that doesn't ring a bell. Oh, we're starting a little early, aren't we? Did you guys hear that? That was the first fireworks that just went off. Tommy, it was Colossus. You know what? I don't think I saw it. I would have to check and see how old it is. I did see The Island. Boom, I did see The Island. The guy from Train Spotting is in it. Couldn't think of the name of it. Thank you, Todd. Well played. Yeah, I saw that film. That film is bizarre. That film is bizarre. Do all the new beds at the facility have mattresses yet? Yes, they do. The only thing that those beds don't have, the only thing that room doesn't have is the reinforced ceiling. I would imagine by now it probably does. B-Lady, I will check it out. I just have to make sure that the clips of film, I've probably explained this too many times and you're all sick of hearing it, but a film is a series of shots 5 seconds, edited to the next one that's 3 seconds, edited to the next one that's 30 seconds. I tend to watch a lot of documentaries. Ewan McGregor, thank you. I tend to watch a lot of documentaries because they're shot on one camera. Now, the opposite side of that, to the extreme, would be like James Bond or Mission Impossible, where they're putting together clips that are a second, literally. They're showing you like one clip of a motorcycle for a second and a half, and then another clip of something else. And they edit all that together really quickly. Because of the traumatic brain injury, when I try putting that back together in my brain, I get an instant migraine. Seriously, it takes about 30 or 40 seconds. So if they're really old films, I tend to be okay because the older the film, the longer the setup, the longer, between moving cameras. I remember when Diddy did the white parties in the Hamptons in the 80s. I never went to them though. Good. That's probably a good thing. Although I'm not picking on you here. You have my word. However, it's kind of like Vietnam. I watch a guy named Don Shipley, great content creator. He's one of the few content creators I watch, but he outspake Navy SEALs. And he's fond of saying, I don't remember the exact number. There's, 2,000 or something SEALs served in Vietnam, or maybe it was 500 SEALs that served in Vietnam, whatever the number was. But he says there were 500 SEALs that served in Vietnam, and I've met all 5,000 of them. Right? It's like 800,000 people were at Woodstock. 9 million people claim to have been at Woodstock. The Diddy parties are the exact opposite, right? Thousands and thousands of people went to Diddy parties, but only about 9 will admit it. He's been doing it that long. Dane Young, absolutely. Absolutely. And those parties were some of the biggest. And the white parties, by the way, is a ripoff. They've been doing white parties since like the Gatsby days, and I know there wasn't a Gatsby, but I'm talking about since the advent of the automobile. There have been people who have been throwing white parties, and it wasn't a weird thing or a racist thing. It was always about not showing any name brand at the party, right? You were never trying to impress anybody with the clothing you wore. So everybody would just wear something that was plain and white. You weren't wearing, it didn't say Versace, or you weren't trying to front with with your clothing. I worked with Russell Brand as well once. Lots of stories. Wow, he's run into some trouble. I'm torn so badly about Russell Brand. I love what he's done for rehab. I don't know if you've ever listened to him talk about sobriety, but he's got a gift. And 30 people almost got in that plane with Buddy Holly. Well played, Barbara Waite. Well played. That is definitely another one. The Twin Towers was that way too. The number of people who have said, I was supposed to be on that flight. I mean, they must have booked 45,000 people on that flight. I've heard that from so many people. It's just absolutely amazing. Yeah, Russell Brand can talk. He absolutely has skill. I believe Russell Brand has turned his life around. Todd, I do too. But unfortunately, and this is kind of the reality, is that your past is something that is very, very difficult to get away from. And once the world, excuse me, wow. Once you let the world know who and what you've been in the past, you're wide open for just about anything that anyone ever wants to accuse you of doing. So you're left either having to lie about who you are and how you got to where you are, or you're honest about it, and the world is going to throw slings and arrows at you. You got to just pray that the audience that finds you has discernment. I make mistakes. I've been doing it a long time. Archie's mom, I love that you say that. I'm on the fence with Brand too. I don't have a problem with people that are on the fence, but I absolutely would like to see what kind of case they can put on against the guy before he gets convicted, because I sure was ready to crucify Harvey Weinstein. And that case just, I'm not saying he's a good guy. He's a terrible guy. But the case against him was flimsy. With 103 people ready to go, you think they wouldn't have a problem finding 2 of them that were decent witnesses, but they did. And I found that a little bit disturbing. And the Diddy case is the same way. The hundreds and hundreds of people, right? They got 3,000 people that called that number in Texas to say that they were, that they had been to a Diddy party and that bad things happened to him. And I don't know, people these days, maybe it's because, every day somebody accuses me of something new, but I want to see the evidence. Let's get a look at the paperwork before we start going down that road. I like what he's done for sobriety. I think he's an amazing voice for sobriety, and he seems to have found faith, and I applaud that. I think he's a cat that'll be really well grounded in that, and I think he'll be a fantastic voice for it. I think a lot of people will get sober because of him, and a lot of people will turn their life around. I really hope that when it all comes out, that he's been open and honest about the fact that he was a dirtbag for a really long time. Did Kevin Spacey ever get convicted of anything? He did. But the big thing with Kevin Spacey has been lawsuits. Word has it he's in a lot of trouble. The last interview I saw him do, he was talking about a house that was being foreclosed on, and he wasn't sure where he was going to live. He has settled an awful lot of cases. Heck, Putin was here today. Maybe he would have pardoned Diddy. I don't think anybody would pardon. Kevin Spacey was acquitted, but not in civil court. He's literally paid out his fortune settling one case after another. He's broke, which is unfortunate. He's a great actor. But he's guilty of, in my opinion, he's guilty of groping a lot of people, including, we're going to need a bigger boat. What's his name's kid? Can't think of his name. I heard there is a picture of Weinstein and Epstein. I heard it on Heretics. Oh, there is. I've seen a picture of the two of them together. That's, but here's the thing with Epstein. There are pictures with Epstein with the Pope, right? I showed them on my channel. I don't think the Pope was, doing the same thing Epstein was. Richard Dreyfuss's son, Kellyanne. Richard Dreyfuss's kid apparently was a victim of Kevin Spacey, which is kind of unfortunate. But yeah, it really is. It really is. He's a great actor, but a very dangerous man. He's got a problem. He's got a problem, and unfortunately, Hollywood, I think, plays into that and festers that. Kevin Spacey, he had some really, picture of him with Pope John Paul. I showed it on my last Epstein show. I did it. I showed it. Yeah. All right, peeps. That brings us to 1 hour and 2 minutes. I will see you all. It is a part of the culture in Hawaii. In Hollywood, Hawaii. In Hollywood. Good Lord. It sure is. All right, people, I will be on tomorrow morning. And you know what? I'm doing a really positive show tomorrow morning. Do yourself a favor, right? Do yourself a favor and stop on by. It's going to be a pure journaling show, but it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun, and I really hope that all of you will be there. Everyone has had bad judgment years ago. Pointy lawn darts, anyone? Tell you what, I have. I sure have. Thank you for spending time with me. I love all of you. Do me a favor. Hit the thumbs up, maybe leave a comment, share this thing with somebody, or if not, certainly do the ones that where we're talking about some heavy stuff, right? Terry McMullen, good to see you, my brother. Tell your kid I said we'll see you all in the next one. Between now and then, put a lot of love in your heart. I'm Tommy. God bless.